Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Skip Mason,
pastor, preacher, historian, author,
teacher, librarian, archivist, world traveler,
collector, family historian, avid reader, and creator of the popular Vanishing Black Atlanta Facebook page.
But a lot of folks who love history.
Most importantly, he's our dad who loves his family and who taught us the importance of our history and having important conversations.
Join him now for this episode of Conversations with Dr. Skip.
Well, good Wednesday evening to all of my wonderful Facebook friends. This is Skip Mason with a nightcap conversation. And I tell you, we're in for a treat this evening. But before I get to our great guest, I hope that you're doing well. I trust and pray that you're safe and that your family's doing well. And I pray that we continue to be vigilant as we encourage our young warriors to protect themselves and to go out and to fight for the great causes of this time and nation. As you know, yesterday they laid George Floyd to rest, and we continue to pray for his family and all of those that have been impacted by it. Now, what I need for you to do is to take a moment and host a watch party. And you've been doing that so well. I appreciate that. Host a watch party and invite them to a nightcap conversation. Now, you should already have your cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is you drink at night to help you to go to sleep. But I am so delighted today to welcome to this conversation with Skip Mason, a young man, and he is younger than I am, one of the greatest artists of our times, a voice that only God could create, and one who has provided so much joy through his gift of music. So, friends and family, help me to welcome to Conversations with Skip, my friend, the one and only Mr. Kenny Lattimore. Kenny.
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
Man.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, man, you sound good.
Great. I changed locations. I know they don't know that. I'm giving y'all the behind the scenes. See, I changed locations from where we started. So
you changed locations and you changed shirts.
And I changed shirts. I did. Yes, very significant.
Yes. You had on that Unsung shirt, but I'm feeling Fred Sanford right now.
Okay, then you've opened the door for me to just start the conversation out, even before we get into our other conversation. This shirt is from a really great company called Blairisms. And Blairisms is a company that does all kinds of fashion and merchandising. And we are doing a partnership. They're taking over my merchandising and helping me to elevate my brand.
Okay.
And this is one of their shirts. I think they just call this the Savage Collection, but it is fun. One thing that's been so wonderful is Blair and Brandon are the names. They're friends of mine as well, and Faith's. And one thing that we did was we talked about lyrics, and we talked about the things that make me who I am. They did an interview with me. It's so funny because when you think of your friends doing interviews, like you and I talking,
right? But
they did an interview with me and helped me to identify ways that I could use my platform, even with regard to merchandising, to create some kind of encouragement to people during these times. And so we're going to be launching on Father's Day.
Excellent.
So pretty soon I'll be having some other conversations. I might have to call you back.
Let me know,
and
man.
Have you talk with us about being a dad on Father's Day as we're talking about merch. You'd like that?
I would love that, Kenny.
Okay, then it's on. We're going to do it.
Man, I love it. And that's Uncle Phil and Fred Sanford. Now, I can't see who else is on this.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you see the Savage is Fred Sanford. Okay.
Of course.
The classy is Uncle Phil.
Okay.
The bougie.
Okay,
I'm sorry. The bougie is, Lord, look at me trying to do this. Oh, there I am. The bougie is George Jefferson.
Yes.
But over here we got the ratchet dad.
I love it.
Our we just lost this amazing John Witherspoon, who has played some very ratchet dance.
Oh my God.
When he was in Boomerang, that was the funniest. Oh my gosh.
He was the king of ratchet. I tell you, my Lord. But we love all of them, actually.
So funny.
May they rest in peace. Just great,
tremendous. And icons, you know. They made the world laugh.
But speaking of icon, Kenny Lattimore, you are an icon. You know, man, first of all, the Unsung. Were you pleased with it?
You know what? The Unsung was presented such with my heart.
Okay.
I have to give kudos to Ike Taylor, who was the producer and director of it, because a lot of times you don't know how your story is going to be edited.
Yeah.
And even though we did the good, the bad, and the ugly, we told it all that we could to put my life into perspective, particularly over such a long period of time, because it was we tried to cover quite a few years, and then my career of over 25 years.
5 years, right?
But they really handled the story with a delicate touch. Yeah. My son was with me through a lot of the filming of it.
Okay.
And I was more concerned that he take the story in and be a part of the process. So that nothing took him off guard, because I knew there were going to be things in it that they weren't shocking, because they were things that he had already lived through.
Right.
But for kids to have to see it come back, see it come back.
Then it's presented to a large public.
And a large audience, yeah. I wanted to be sensitive to that, but I wanted him to know the truth.
Yeah.
That a lot of things that were said just was not the truth. Right. But I was going to put something in this story that explained in a classy way what my journey was like.
Yeah.
And I think that they did me proud. I was so very happy. TV One and Unsung, I'm forever grateful for the approach that they took. Absolutely.
Well, I thought it was very tastefully done.
Thank you.
And I've often wondered, in fact, I asked Jennifer Holliday this, they did an Unsung.
Oh, one of my favorites ever.
I know. And, I said, well, were you pleased with it? And she said she was pleased.
Good. It's scary. I got to admit, it is scary. When people are asking, it's like you being interrogated. I know I did 2 days of interviews.
Did you really?
Because it felt like my life every 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Completely changed. It was almost like I was in a different place in life every 5 to. So some things I didn't even remember at first. I was like, wow, you already did your research. How did you know this? How did you know that? And they dug behind the scenes and did some investigating as well. So by the time we lined up all of the people to interview and talk about their perspective, it was a really great, complete story. And what I love is when my memory is correct.
Okay.
When my memory is correct as to what happened, because, when you got people that'll tell the story and you go, oh, yep, that is what happened. Okay, I told it right.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the scary part. I don't ever want to tell somebody something that wasn't right.
Your memory, it can play tricks on you.
Yes.
And you think that it was one way, and maybe it was not.
Or maybe you felt that way. But
maybe you felt that way, And when you get older, the memory really plays tricks on you. I can speak from that. But listen, so much to share. First of all, there's a scene in The Color Purple. I've been waiting all day to say this, where Suge sees her father, and she says, "I's married now. I's married."
I's married now.
Married
wow.
to the beautiful Judge Faith. Yeah. And man, when I saw these wonderful pictures just scattered everywhere in social media, I could not have been more happier for you. And then when I saw the wedding dance video,
it's really crazy. I mean, millions of views, millions of views. Like when we first did it, it's funny because I was making a joke when we were posting it. I was like, well, when you love somebody, you step outside of who you are,
right?
And you try to you try new things, and you don't stay in the same box. So when she mentioned wanting to do a dance, a lot of it had to do with the fact that she had just lost her father.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And normally there's a daddy-daughter dance.
Daughter dance, right?
So we were like, okay, well, I said, babe, I'll do the dance with you. Let's do it. And when we started, it was like, okay, we had to rehearse and pull together. We had a little college student, I think her name was Lindsay, put the dance together, and she did a fantastic job. So then it was like, okay, it's time to do the dance. It's like, let's just go out here and just do it. And we had such a good time. And as you can see in the video, that was just really what happened. And the reaction from our guests was like over the moon. So putting it up, it was interesting for me to look at myself.
I didn't know you could dance like that. I mean, you're a soulful crooner. You love ballads, Yeah. I didn't know you had those skills, man.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think that there are different sides of me that come out, because on stage, when I'm performing, I have a lot of energy and I'm all over the place.
Right.
But I hardly ever do choreographed stuff.
So
I think that's the big deal.
Kind of let it flow.
I just let it flow. Yeah. So for somebody to do choreography, it's more chances that something can go wrong or you can mess up. Now when you're the star and you're out in front of everybody, it's kind of cool because, the background, they can do whatever, they can have the choreography and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I don't usually have to follow that. But in this routine, it was like, nope, you're going to have to hit every single move, sir. So we had a great time.
Did it, and was it a New Orleans theme? Because I saw
it was. Faith is from Shreveport originally.
Shreveport. Okay.
But being a Louisiana woman, there's still the same customs and things are, they go throughout the state. So we came in with a second line, and we showcased some of the local music from some DJs in New Orleans and DC. We tried to give tribute to me being from DC as well.
Yes.
But the general theme was that we were taking people down south since we were out in California.
Well, I tell you, man, it was just a joy to watch the video and to
thank you
to see the joy. Now, where did you all meet?
Thank God for great friends.
Okay.
Aaron Lindsay, who is a 6-time Grammy Award winning producer. So I'm giving his accolades. He did Stay on Your Mind, which was my last top 10 hit.
Okay.
Irie's last hits. He did Marvin Sapp, Never Would Have Made It. Okay.
Oh,
I'm giving him his props in a big way because not only is he a great musician, he's an amazing father and an amazing husband and a really great friend.
Right.
And one day he saw me, he said, I know someone who I think you should meet.
Mm-hmm.
And he started describing his feelings in an interesting way. And I have to go backwards a little bit and make the story a little longer by saying there's some people that when they hear music, they see colors. I think Layla Hathaway's like they see colors and or they feel certain types of vibrations, some of the greatest creators. And he made a statement to me one day. He said, you know what? It's like I was with her and I was with you and you all were on the same vibration.
Oh my God.
And I'm not talking about new age vibration.
Yeah.
I mean, literally musical, like he could feel our spirits from a musical sense of being a great producer. He said, you guys are vibrating the same way.
Okay.
Or resonating the same way, like music. And he said, I want you guys to meet. So the long story shorter, a little bit shorter, is that we met up. We had lunch together one day, and it was just like magic. It was like the chemistry was. I don't know that she would say it was instant.
Yeah.
But I knew that.
You could.
For me, I think I was interviewing for real. I was going down the list like, okay, this is okay. This is I was listening to who she was.
Right.
And I was like, wow, she's checking off all my boxes that I had in terms of my core values, where I saw myself in terms of like every detail of core values. And that's something that was a big deal for me because my career, a lot of times I had core values written out. Oh, my business is about this, my business is about that.
Yeah.
I know that this is my goal I want to reach, but I really did not, in my personal life, always focus on what my core values were. And when you don't focus on your core values, you don't always appreciate your core values, which is a part of who you are. So, she really was amazing.
That's amazing. I'm still the Lindsay's ability to put it all together.
Yeah.
I'm still there. That's an amazing.
Isn't that something?
It is.
Okay, but I should say this too. We're probably couple number 5. So we weren't the first. Yeah. Whoa. They have been doing this for a while, and we had to make a joke. Well, Faith has a great sense of humor as well. She was like, y'all don't try to blow up their DMs, trying to, find them and get in there. Oh, you got to introduce me to somebody. That's the first thing that people want to do.
That's right.
When we tell the story, but it is a real story. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And what I also love is when you have somebody with great character,
right,
and integrity to lead you into something.
Yeah.
There's something that's comforting about that.
Yeah.
It's very comforting.
That's wonderful, Kenny. And
thank you.
She and your son, did they?
Wonderful. It's funny. She, I always laugh about it because she tutored him through some school things that he had, because she's brilliantly intelligent and an academic. And I was so happy because a lot of times I can come in, I'm an academic as well, but when I come in, I'm doing stuff, I was just kind of all over the place and keeping things stable for him. So it was nice to have a partner come in.
Yeah.
And to say, hey, oh yeah, I can just help him, to have that kind of spirit too, because it taught my son something. He had been watching a lot of television shows and all of that, where when the quote step parents come in, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
And kids are, don't call me mom, I'm never calling you dad, all this drama.
All that drama.
And he was like, oh my gosh, this is not like that at all. This is not what I thought,
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you think that again? But he told me, he said he was watching some TV shows. So they, have their relationship, and it is it's very gentle and loving. And she's a supporter. She's a supporter of him always.
That is wonderful. Laura Lane says the pictures paint a picture of romance. The dance very sweet.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was the day that we got married it was a romantic. It was almost like I was watching someone else, like outside. It's like an outer body experience.
I bet. And Devon Franklin, let me tell you,
Amen.
I don't know him, but he has blessed me with his prayers.
Oh my goodness, yes.
He does these Instagram prayers,
yes,
among other things in his ministry.
Yeah.
And I tell you, for a while, almost every single day, I was waiting for a prayer to pop up. And, so you let him know that he is really ministering to a lot of people. Yeah.
And another, it just, one thing I really want to make sure that I did with my life, and particularly having a son too, and showing him example, is surrounding myself with people like yourself, like a Devon, like Aaron, people again who are rich in character, rich in spirit and wisdom. And so it's awesome having him. And that was another that been a core value of mine too. I saw some of Faith's friends and her family and the people that came to the wedding that I met were, again, rich.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, this is the room was filled with amazing people from all different backgrounds who came to celebrate us. And it was a wonderful feeling.
Well, Kenny, you attract what you give, what you put out.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
You really do. Now, I met you, we met 10 years ago. It's been 10 years.
That's been 10 years.
In Vegas.
Wow. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What a great time too.
Oh, it was what a
great time.
Amazing time. And you were and still a bit star singer, and I admire you, but you were so down to earth. And I'm thankful we just hit it off, and then you came and performed. In fact, you opened up the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Tribute, and I'll never forget if I have that. I'll never forget that moment.
Ooh, drama. It was drama. A very dramatic performance. Look,
you did Built to Last.
Yeah. And, which so
really
lyrically is so significant right now.
Yeah.
And who would have known? First of all, thank you for the opportunity. Because what people will not know, or they don't know, is that was the first time I ever sang that song. So that was the first time I'd ever performed that song.
I think I remember that. Wow. Okay.
And since then, it has touched so many people's lives.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was fitting to set the tone to go through the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I remember your son was with us as well, because I think the next day we went back over to the statue, and I've been trying to find those pictures, but I'm not a hoarder.
You're taking me back. Oh.
But that was just a great time. So I'm
a great time.
So happy for you. So a couple of things. I'm watching ESPN's The Last Dance. Wait a minute. Hey, Kenny, when you do your own Facebook Live talk show, you are the host.
Yes.
You are the producer.
You're doing great, though.
Look, you are the engineer.
And
you are the picture finder. So I'm watching. Where's that picture?
You're doing great, because the pictures that went up, I'm fascinated by it. I don't know that I'm going to have to learn how to do this. So hopefully, when I do my Facebook Live, I can do the same. Throw pictures up.
And this platform, StreamYard, is wonderful. So I'm watching ESPN The Last Dance, and someone turns to Michael Jordan and says, "What you listening to?" Kenny Lattimore. It's brand new. It's not even out. He's a friend. Kenny. I promise you. I looked at your number. I said I should text him right now. But
a lot of people did.
I know he's been inundated with texts, but I just thought that was just one of the most. But the part I like, he's a friend. That I just thought that was just such a wonderful moment, and one that you could not even ask for. Did you know that was going to be in there? Were you?
Okay, actually, I did know.
You did know. Okay.
But I never saw the clip. So what happens when people are putting music into a documentary of such?
Okay.
They have to ask for licensing rights, because and people may not have known that after that clip, they actually played my song Days Like This for the next minute or minute and a half.
Okay.
So that they'd have that correlation. But they told me that he's going to say he's listening to Kenny Lattimore, and that's it. So I thought to myself, okay, he might have been walking in the hotel, or he might have just been home for a minute. And they were like, "What do you listen to?" "Oh, I got Kenny Lattimore." It could have been anything, Right. But the enthusiasm that he had, he reminded me, I did send him that album early, which I totally forgot about.
Okay.
And then lastly, it was his hype music. I had no idea. You're going into the finals and you're listening to R&B music.
Amazing.
So it was a really huge celebration, I think, for R&B music, because for the last 15 years, I'd have to say 10 to 15 years, I feel like R&B music has been under attack. Like, a lot of times it happens when we invent a great art form and make a lot of money, but then there are times when the industry wants to shift its focus, and it has taken such a huge backseat to hip hop, which we love. We created that too. Absolutely. So, but in terms of marketing it, it all exists. Yeah. And it all kind of goes together and complements one another. But for whatever reason, okay, hip hop is the music of this generation. That's true. That's fine. But it made an interesting conversation, because a lot of people were like thinking he was going to be listening to hip hop, something really up,
Right.
and crazy and hype. Ah!
Yeah.
So the only thing I can say is
all pumped up and hyped.
all pumped up and hyped. Yeah. And I mean, Days Like This is an up-tempo song. I don't just have ballads, even though a lot of people know me for my ballads.
Right.
I do have up-tempo songs, but it still it set a different tone to me. It said, maybe this great guy is hype enough. Maybe in his greatness, he's hype enough and he needs something to balance him.
Okay.
Because when you're talking about taking precision shots at the last second,
right.
Overhype means you can overshoot it. You need something that's just right, in there, that you take that breath and you release, and it's effortless for him,
We're going to give us a dissertation on the correlation between rhythm and blues and basketball. I love it. Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's gospel music too. From what I said, a lot of athletes listen to gospel music too. A lot of the football players.
They do.
So,
they do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I thought that was an amazing moment, and
what a moment!
One of my favorites songs.
Thank you.
And I went to YouTube. YouTube commenters are interesting, and you had tons of comments under your song, and they were saying, did the Michael Jordan documentary drive you to this song? Because there were obviously a generation of people who were not familiar with the song.
Not even born when it was out.
Not even born.
One guy was like, my 18-year-old is banging this song out every day. And some people were like, oh yeah, that's Jordan's guy. Oh, this is his song. And people from Russia, a lot of guys from different parts of the world listening to, and it was such a blessing. And of course, it spiked up a lot. I haven't got my royalty sheets yet, but I'm expecting God to bless. But what was really wonderful was how I learned that a lot of times in the music industry, we push artists to keep creating new material.
Okay.
And we'll say, oh, put a new album out every year, or put a new album out this. But what this whole process proved to me was that it's only new to the people that know, or that don't know.
Right.
So what happens is Days Like This became brand new all over again.
All over again.
When I recorded that song, it was supposed to be something that people had never heard before. It was a combination of something called speed garage that was happening in London.
Okay.
And what R&B was doing in the United States. And I said, I want to be the first person to merge these things together. And what it created was something that probably feels timeless because there's nothing that's trendy about it. Because the speed garage didn't blow up in the United States, it just created another sound for me to glean from.
Okay.
And so wow. I'm so honored that 22 years later, promotion comes from the Lord. It just does.
That's my talk there. That is my talk. I tell you the truth. Sometime, I preached a sermon, and it was entitled "Sit Down, I Got This."
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the Lord just moves us out the way and allows the Lord just to say, I got this. Now, I got it, but it's not in your time.
Yeah.
But it will come in time. In time. So I tell you, it's just a blessing. Well, I think your whole career has just been a wonderful example of faith, perseverance. You grew up in Washington.
Yes.
Tell us growing up in Washington and Howard University.
Mm-hmm. One thing I loved about DC was being in a progressive, multicultural city.
Yeah.
That was predominantly African American, because it allowed me to see myself. I didn't always go to schools like predominantly African American schools,
right.
but being from an area that was progressive, I could see Black business owners.
Okay.
I could see Black artists. I could see Black people owning homes and doctors and all that, so that it let me know that I could be anything.
Right.
It allowed me to dream, being in a gorgeous, very architecturally stunning city, because I was an architecture major. And being at Howard University, my mother was an educator and she worked at Howard University. She also worked at Lincoln University, the first HBCU.
Oh, Wow.
So I think she made sure.
Yeah.
My dad there. Yeah. My dad is from North Carolina.
Okay.
But he would kind of go back and forth while we were growing up because my parents divorced when I was 2.
Okay.
But he always stayed in my life and in my brothers and sisters' lives. And he, when my mother passed, which a lot of people may not know, my mom passed in 88. Okay. And when she passed, he was like, I will come up to DC because I promised your mother that if anything ever happened to her, or if anything happened to me, that, we would be there with you. So he came up to DC, which really strengthened our relationship. And we really have been super close ever since. And I know that may sound crazy to some people. Wait a minute, super close. But it did grow. It grew our relationship because I'd always go down and spend summers in North Carolina. So I felt very connected to my family and the culture of North Carolina. But it definitely, our relationship changed. It was just different because we were together just a lot more.
How old were you when your mother passed?
21. I think I just turned 21.
You were 21. Okay. Yeah. What part of North Carolina is your dad from?
Salisbury, which is about an hour north of Charlotte.
Okay.
An hour north of Charlotte. So we go down there. We go to Carowinds and go to the amusement park.
I remember Carowinds and that roller coaster. Yeah.
That was my thing growing up. I loved some roller coasters growing up, man.
I took my kids to Carowinds a few years ago. Now, my daughter now is 19 and my son is 17. I took them to Carowinds and somehow my son got disconnected from us. And I'm telling you, Kenny, I just prayed. I said, and I walked, where is this boy? What happened? He actually got disconnected from his sister and could not find him. So in the interim, he's on Rise. He's riding.
Yes. He was like, I'm not wasting my time.
Not a care in the world. I might as well make good use of this time.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to leave me. I was furious, but I was, first of all, grateful that he was okay. I went to Carowinds security. I did the whole 9 yards. He was just riding. Kids are kids, not a care in the world. But I told him that's the last time you're going to Carowinds or Six Flags. The next time you go, you will be grown and you'll be taking your own children.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a worse scenario.
Oh wow, go ahead.
I probably did that when I was 10. So my parents were sick.
Oh my!
And I did it at King's Dominion because that was our park that was close to.
Yeah,
it's something that would just drive us crazy particularly about the last hour. What are you going to ride in the last hour? Oh my God. It has to be something great. And you go and you get in a line and you're like, this line is longer than an hour.
Oh my goodness.
But you just go for it and you just risk everything for that moment. We used to just lose our minds as kids.
Sure.
Now, I wasn't by myself though. I was with some other kids, but I was 10 with 12-year-olds still. They would, we had to get that last roller coaster ride in.
I know. Well, yeah, you got that one on me. I tell you, but kids are just. But now they have to think a little clearer.
True, very true.
And have to help them. You can't do that in this time. Unfortunately, that we're living in. But you got into music and while you were at Howard University. Well, you grew up in the church. And
I did, and it was the church and faith that helped me to navigate life, really, because I remember when the music industry stuff was not happening for me at all, but I felt like I was telling somebody today, I said, hey, if I can go and sing at church, it's going to give me the same feeling that I would get. I need a certain satisfaction out of it so that I don't make the success in the music industry my value.
Okay.
Or value my goodness or myself as a man by how much money I made or how many records I sold, because that happens a lot. People go into these businesses and they feel like if I haven't done this, I've done nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, no, if I can go into church and I can sing and I can uplift somebody can get saved.
You've done a lot.
And I have done a whole lot. Yeah. So keeping that perspective, when I got into the music industry, there were so many things that I just never took too seriously. In some ways, I was an overthinker because I wanted to make my mother proud, even though she wasn't there with me. I probably overthought things that I was going to say.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that people knew the pedigree that I had come from. When I think about the meticulousness that she spent teaching me about speaking and about representing excellence. So that I probably overthought about instead of just walking in it, because I also came up, which is controversial. I'm hoping to talk about this more with Ron Sweeney and some of the record executives that are kind of calling out the music industry right now.
Okay.
Because as a Black man, it was difficult, particularly at the beginning when For You and Never Too Busy came out, and when hip hop was coming to its fine moment with Biggie and Tupac, and it was coming to a fine moment, but the industry began to shift its view of Black men. It was almost like, you're talking about For You, I Give a Lifetime of Stability. I don't get it. You're talking about being never too busy. You're a young Black guy. Aren't you just supposed to be out thugging? And aren't you supposed to be out, oversexed, doing whatever? And that wasn't who I was. I came from the church, like we're talking about.
Right.
And that was a problem for me because I felt like they did not value the versatility and it wasn't just about me or who I was as a Black man. It just was like I had to be one-dimensional.
Sure.
For people to understand who I was, which was a very subtle form of racism to me.
Very much so.
And it wasn't all Black. It wasn't all white people either.
Some Black folks too. I
think we were feeding into it, and what we were doing was creating almost a caricature of who Black men are. And it was very interesting. So in terms of the type of support I got or didn't get during that time period, I think it was based on some of that. Is he marketable? Well, he doesn't have the hip hop thing. He ain't fly like this person. He ain't that.
Yeah.
We're way more diverse as people than, again, just one dimension. Instead of finding who my audience was, it was like I was being torn down. And that again brings me back to the scripture that talks about, promotion coming from the Lord, because it made me really more grateful,
right?
More honored and grateful for any success I had, because I knew that it was truly organic. It wasn't because the machine got behind me and promoted me to everybody, and everybody was sick of hearing my song. It was number one because I had my number ones and all that. That was fine, but it wasn't because the machine just thrusted me there.
Right.
It was the real people, like the people that are listening to us right now, who actually liked the music and they were cool with the message.
Listen, you have lasted. Your songs are etched in our hearts. Listen,
thank you.
Seriously, for you, I must have listened to it about 5 or 10 times today. Just in my Kenny Lattimore moment, because that was the song. And I mean, I don't even know how you've been able to field requests from folks who think that you got, as if you don't have enough to do, and you're on that they can just call you and come to their country church wedding. I'm just joking.
I've done some. Oh no, I have done it.
And serenade them to sing that. And I know you have got just thousands of requests, Ken.
And it's been amazing because I have done huge. I did Carmelo Anthony and Lala's wedding. I sang for Vanessa Williams when she and Rick Fox were together. Antoine Fuqua and Leela Rashawn. To so many different people. But I also, because I am an advocate for marriage, and I know how expensive and how nerve-wracking it is, putting together the wedding and going down that I have tried to make sure that I slip in one of them couple of those country little weddings too.
Good.
I know everybody can't afford, whatever. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did a contest, and this whole COVID-19 thing has kind of messed it up. But I did a contest during my Unsung where you could just win me
I saw
Just a drawing. We could win.
I saw it.
Yeah. And we have the winner and we have everything. And I was supposed to actually fulfill their request in about a week or so.
Okay. COVID-19, some things.
Yeah. So now it's like, but we're still on target. They will reschedule from what I understand. But it's because I know that everybody can't afford to have the celebrity come or whatever and all that. And I always want to make the music accessible. And the experience that's like an experience of a lifetime for somebody.
Oh, it is. It is. And so if the Lord should see fit that I get married again, just look for a text.
Hey, I'll be looking. Yeah.
Look for a text. But
you have credits. So, it's like, hey, I'm on the way, Skip. I'm on the way. Man.
Oh, bless you. I saw you singing at one of my former students' wedding, Daryl Smith.
Now I got to think.
Daryl?
Which city?
Daryl was a chef.
Oh, Chef Daryl. Oh, that's my dude. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Here he
is.
That's
my dude. Yeah, that's great. We toured together for. I love this picture here because we did the excuse me, the UNCF Empower Me tour.
Right.
And he and I just clicked, man. As a matter of fact, I have to say, Daryl and his wife Jasmine were probably my first friends that I ever took Faith to meet.
Really?
And we went to their house and we had dinner, like at the very beginning of us dating.
Oh man!
And I know that he is doing super well, and he's his business is doing super well, and I'm so happy for him.
I am too. I am,
and I'll get to see him because I believe he's in the Atlanta area. And
he's in Atlanta. He's affiliated with Atlanta Area Technical College. He runs the food service program. He has a restaurant. I mean, he is doing so well, and I haven't had a chance to get over, even though he's extended the invitation. But I'm looking forward to him. I'm so proud of him, and when I saw you singing at his wedding, and then saw other pictures, I realized that there was a friendship,
that connection. Yeah, and see, Faith is so I'll be back. I know Faith is, if just in case anybody doesn't know, she is the new judge on divorce court.
No, I didn't.
So it's going to be amazing in the next. She starts filming soon, and she's going to be filming out of Atlanta. So you'll see me popping down there quite a bit now. So we have to get together.
We have to get together, Ken. Yeah. But you come to Atlanta often because you've done City Winery a number.
Oh, one of my favorite places.
Sold out City Winery.
It's one of my favorite because it's intimate still. You can get dinner, get some good food, have a great experience. Yeah. So definitely one. I can't wait till those venues are back.
Oh. I know. And not only that, but I'm a big Broadway fan and fanatic. As I told them, I had, today is Wednesday. Monday night, I had Bernadette Stanis on.
Wow, good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
Ageless beauty, I tell you. And it's such a Thelma. Will always be Thelma to us.
Will always be Thelma to us. You know what? You were talking about Jennifer Holliday earlier. I got a chance to do something really special with her. I mean, I was a huge Dreamgirls fan.
Right.
And and everybody from the cast. I wanted to play Oba Babatunde's role. I wanted to be her brother.
Yeah.
And I got a chance. I didn't get to do that role, but I got to kind of be Curtis in a special performance, a production of Dreamgirls, just the music.
Okay.
But out here in Hollywood with Sheryl Lee Ralph, Loretta Devine, and Jennifer Holliday. It was amazing because I stood back and I'll never forget. Jennifer Holliday was about to do I Am Changing.
Okay.
And I was standing backstage and I was like, wow, this is what it would have been like.
I know.
Being backstage every night. Watching it. And then I get to go out and sing with Sheryl Lee Ralph. When I first saw you, I said, oh my. I had such a great time, man. It was incredible.
What an opportunity. I love them all.
Yeah.
And Jennifer and Sheryl Lee, I know very well. I've met Loretta, but I'm so in love with Loretta. Just
beautiful person.
Her whole personality.
Yeah.
And her, and I mean, when she takes a role on a show, captures it. You know,
Yep.
she runs,
makes it her own.
Yeah, she makes it her own. But wow, and have you done any Broadway? You would have been guest star on Broadway. Have you ever done any?
I've never done Broadway. Excuse me. Faith was talking about that with me, and I guess when people come to my show, I guess they can really see it. I'm really dramatic, and I'm arms, and I'm face, and I'm and they go, "Why? What is all the faces? What is all that?" I'm on stage. I'm old school. You know what I mean? It's like
give it to them.
That's the way we did it when we were coming up, as particularly, again, I'm gonna say it, as Black people.
That's right.
You couldn't just go out and sing a song. That was not good enough.
No, you got to give them something.
You had to move the crowd.
That's right. That's right.
And we had to move the crowd. And if you did not move the crowd, it was like, what? Or how about even before my generation and before our generation?
Right.
You had to be able to dance, sing, act, tap, you play instruments. You had to do it all.
The whole 9 yards, I tell you.
Or you weren't even considered talented.
If you can do it. So a couple of things. You've been so kind, and I'm not going to keep you much longer, but I wanted to share a couple of things. First of all, I found this picture of you and Barry.
Yes, look at our suits. Look at my suit. Okay.
When we wore jackets and pants that were just a tad bit larger than our size. Yeah.
That was the style.
Oh, what an incredible experience that must have been to meet the maestro.
Let me tell you, every night I remember being backstage, and he would come out to Ecstasy, and the music was bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 bum. But he was so smooth. He would just walk out kind of slow and take his time until he got up to the mic and would just say, "Good evening," and the place would go. So when I first started doing my shows, I was like, I'm gonna do like Barry, man. You know, give me some banging music, and I'm just gonna walk out real slow. I'm gonna have to do that, but to put that back in my show again. It's definitely effective.
I love it.
With the orchestra and everything. It was amazing.
Oh, I bet it was.
It was amazing.
I bet it was. And of course, you all, in case you don't know, and we were talking about Kenny singing at weddings. Well, guess who performed at his wedding? Stevie Wonder. This is not his bride on the side. This is a old.
That's my friend Tammy, who's my publicist for years.
Okay.
Yep. Who is still, that's my friend. That's my good friend, and she's worked with me and Faith on different things.
Oh wow.
And Stevie's been a really great friend. And when I think about him being at our wedding, what was even more special was the fact that he had just lost his brother.
Okay.
And he had every reason to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to be able to make it. But he blessed me, and he blessed my wife.
Wow.
So much in making that dream come true. It's so funny when you're talking about Bernadette Standish, because in Black history and Black nostalgia, he sang You and I, which was a song that Ralph Carter sang to her coming down. He was like, this is Keith and Thelma song.
Was that not the moment on TV?
It was amazing.
That song.
Wow. To think, we just did not see ourselves. The Good Times really did so much for us. I mean, Jefferson's Good Times, all, but those moments, seeing, Black people in love, really, and struggling, but intelligent,
right,
in the hood,
but
relentless in terms of their effort. Even though it was like, they could never get out the hood, well, that's what it felt like.
Lord, please help these folks get out of the projects.
Yeah, get out of the project. Yeah. And I keep saying hood, I'm sorry, but projects. Because hood can be anything, really. Yeah. But getting out of the projects and facing all of the challenges, and when they did eventually, at the end. But in a way, I wanted to just see them. I wanted to see them live the middle class life of I wanted to see them live the next level. But I guess we got to see that on the Cosby Show.
We did.
Or some of the other ones, which is really the blessing.
We wanted them to win, and every time
we wanted them to win.
It looked as if they were going to do that. Something
would happen. Yeah.
Compelling TV. The late great Nancy Wilson.
Wow. We duetted, and some people had to as much as I had my career and I sung for a long time, I did not always love my voice.
You didn't?
No, I didn't love my voice. And I didn't always think that it was captured as well as I was actually singing live. I would put a lot of effort into things. And in the recording, sometimes they would add compression to my voice. And it would take away, I think, some of the effort that I was putting in because I was classically trained. Right. So I'd do a little run or something, and it wouldn't even sound like a run on the album once the compression was added. So I remember walking into the studio with Nancy Wilson, and she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come in the studio with you so we can inspire each other." And we were in the booth. I'm like, "Oh my gosh," she was absolutely my mother's favorite singer.
Oh, I'm sure.
So all of these amazing people, my mother introduced me to their music, but she didn't live to see it.
Yeah.
Or physically be there, but through my spirit, you know, it gets to be connection. But she got in there and we started singing that song together. She turned around to me. She was like, "What, boy?" She encouraged me so much. She's like, "You can sing. You can, oh my goodness, you gonna get me to go in here and do my part over." You know, she was just very chill like that.
What song did you all do together?
Why Did I Choose You?
Why Did I Choose You?
And actually, prior to that, I got a chance to record another duet with her, Don't Get Around Much Anymore.
Don't Get Around.
For a Duke Ellington tribute.
Oh, I love that one.
But the Why Did I Choose You was the first time that she and I were literally in the studio together, though.
Okay. That's amazing. Let me put this one up.
Just wow. Oh, who sat and talked to me too. These are people that, you know what I didn't have growing up?
What is it?
I didn't have a mentor.
Okay.
That really knew the music industry. I had beautiful people around me and I had great men around me, but they didn't know the music industry and they didn't know how to mentor me towards my goal necessarily. And I pledged that I was going to be a mentor.
Okay.
That I was going to give to young people the things that I didn't have. But in this time in my life, within even the last 10 years, I've had people sit down with me like the great Frankie Beverly in this photo and just share stories with me. And just tell me, oh my gosh, this is what was happening during that time when Marvin Gaye and I were recording. You're just sitting there like, oh,
wow.
Great guy. One of my favorites.
Oh, I'm sure.
Legend.
Yes. and
this.
Look at this quad of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My goodness.
Wow.
Ice Cube's son, I can't remember his name. Michael Jordan. What's his name, Kenny?
O'Shea, I believe is his name.
That's right. And then, of course, Jamie and Brian Stevenson, because you did a track for the movie Just Mercy.
No. Actually, not that. I did a track for Canal Street, which was a similar plot.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly the same plot, but it was just a similar plot. But the reason why I was at that function, this was kind of rough. Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
And a bunch of executives from Kendall, my friends Kendall Duffy. It's a company, and Clyde Duffy. There's a company called 3D. I believe it's 3D. Well, they do a lot of the Christian marketing of films. So they brought Jamal Bryant and various bishops and people together from the area to sit and watch the film from a faith-based perspective.
Okay.
Well, they know that I'm a part of the faith-based community as well, even though a lot of times people are just like, oh, R&B. But when we went in to see that film, it was so touching, and it was, very short time period before we lost Kobe Bryant. Right. Kobe got up to speak before the movie began, and I can't even remember his words exactly. All I remember happening is I was going, there's Kobe Bryant. I mean, I'm a fan, but after he spoke, I was like, whoa, he's so enlightened. And he actually gathered these people together to promote this movie and this amazing film about injustice and justice, and making people aware of this great attorney's work. I was like, I would love to sit down with him. We probably could be friends. Yes, right. It was really like different kind of thoughts were going through my head, and little would we know that he would not be with us. But the impact that he made was so tremendous. And that night to listen to Attorney Stevens speaking as well, it was so inspiring. Yeah. And I think it helped to set the stage for where we are today with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. Now, we know that we've lost so many.
Right.
But we never had the timing, the timing of this where everybody's home and they got to see it.
Yeah.
But it was also something different about the tone that Just Mercy set prior to this happening. I think it really had something to do with us galvanizing and feeling like we are empowered, we are enough to make change.
I agree with you, Kenny. I think the movie had such a profound impact, and I was so glad to hear that and I'm not certain what the distributing company was, but they released it.
Yes.
And made it available for all to see.
Absolutely.
That one was a little more easier to watch than Ava DuVernay's When They See Us. I'm telling you, after it took me, 3 or 4 days to pull it together.
Yeah.
After When They See Us, you know.
Yes.
I
did. I had to just binge and just watch it all at once.
Yeah.
And I think that thank God for these video cameras and stuff, because some of white America, they really had no clue. And I'm saying that because there's some good brothers and sisters out there who just did not understand our plight because it's so foreign to them.
Right.
We know that there's some bad ones out there. But I remember having a conversation many years ago with a friend from New York during the time when we could not get cabs. I don't know if you ever went to New York and went through that, but we couldn't get cabs. And he was like, come on, guys, you got to be kidding. The cabs are here all the time. Sorry, they're not going to pick us up. And he really did not believe it. It was hard for him to understand that was a reality.
Wow.
So he went downstairs in his building with some of our friends, and he hailed a cab, which did stop for him, of course. And when they saw those black men coming, they almost took off his arm, driving away.
They pulled off?
They pulled off. And he said, oh, he had to have that experience to understand that this was really happening because it was so foreign to him.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy though that we've always taken a stand and we've gone to the streets, but I'm happy that we're seeing other nationalities of people respond.
Yeah.
Asian community, Latino community, all of us that are responding to this reality that has been happening to us in America for years.
I tell you, it's been incredible. So when this person died, I said 2020, just go away. Deal with us.
Oh.
Deal with us.
He was so nice to me. He would allow me to come into his rehearsals. Sometimes we'd be rehearsing near each other or what have you, and his daughter performed with him. And when he would see me, he would always be like, I love it, this man. So the last time I saw him, I was giving a tribute to Peabo Bryson.
Okay.
And it was for the Trumpet Awards. And he loves her, Nona Clayton. And so Bill Withers was there to support his friend, Peabo Bryson. He may have done some other things that night as well, but he came. I just remember him coming out and taking photos and just giving me so much praise during that time. And I just was like, wow, it doesn't get any better than this.
Incredible. I tell you, just totally incredible. Well, wow, you have recorded so many albums and you've just done so much. I'm just going to put a couple of them up for the folks to see. Actually, that's not an album. That's a statement.
That was a statement. Yeah, after seeing the movie. No way.
Here we go. Let's see. Never Too Busy.
Never Too Busy. The anthology, which is like, whoa, I get to have an anthology? Wow.
You have an anthology. You have such a huge collection of an array of songs. Let's see. Here's another.
It's interesting when they put it all together to tell a story, because then it's like you're a part of music history in another way. I don't think I ever saw that. Not that I didn't want it or didn't. I think that when you're young and you get into the music industry, you just want that hit right there.
Right.
But as I'm more seasoned, I look back and I just go, thank God for a legacy.
Yes.
Because I didn't always appreciate it. I just didn't. I think, I didn't always live in the moment of it to enjoy it. But when I look back, I thank God, because there was even a time where I had to think about what my legacy was to the music industry.
Right.
And God just gave me something in my spirit, and that was, I've always sung to the hearts of women and to the minds of men to encourage you in love.
I love that, man.
And that was it. And as long as I could say that to myself, I don't care if I'm tired, if I was going through something, if I had to go out to sing, I was singing purpose to the hearts of women, minds of men, to encourage them in love. And that kind of would push me to continue to fulfill my destiny.
Yeah. It's amazing. I did not remember that you were a soundtrack to The Best Man.
The Best Man and Love Jones.
And Love Jones.
Yeah.
Now
I had such a good time. You know what was great about that was they showed me a scene, and there's nothing like writing to a scene. It's a different kind of challenge. I love it. Because you're listening to somebody else's words and emotion and whatever they're going through, and then you put music to that. Oh, it's pretty. The process is very brilliant.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And of course, the great Whitney Houston.
Oh, my favorites.
I know.
One of my absolute favorites.
I know.
That night in particular, which I guess will go down in history as her last public appearance.
So that was at that event.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was her last public appearance. And there were lots of moments that night. One of the moments I can say is El DeBarge walked in.
Okay.
And she saw El DeBarge, and, we all kind of were just hugging and just enjoying each other. But in the middle of paparazzi and everything, she began to pray for him. El had come from a tough battle.
Right.
As well, just life. And we had to tell the cameras, just, can we stop for a moment to give them this moment?
Some privacy, right.
Some privacy. But it's things like that about her that that makes me want to be better.
Okay.
That makes me want to be a better person. It's beyond the entertainment. It's beyond what people think of her personally. She stopped in that moment to pray for somebody that we know was having a tough time, who we love. And we don't want to just take our Black artists and zap them of all of their creativity and take from them their gift.
Sure.
And then toss them away.
Right.
He influenced probably her in many ways as much as he influenced me. Has influenced me, El DeBarge. And even though, she is gone, I'll always have great memories of tributing her, tributing her at Soul Train Awards, singing with her for Luther Vandross, who I also loved.
I know.
Oh man, you're helping me bring back these memories, because again, this is not stuff I talk about very often, but oh my gosh.
Well, I tell you, I've just had such a wonderful time, and you cross all genres. Let me put this one up as well.
ASCAP, I remember that. That wasn't too long ago.
That wasn't too long ago.
We were at the ASCAP Awards, and yeah.
Wow.
I think now it's interesting because the only hip hop I really did, Heather B, who used to be on The Real World, I think it was called, MTV's Real World. She's one of the original cast members. I did a song with her years ago, so I always experimented in the space of hip hop. I don't think everybody always saw me in it, so I didn't always get the call. They called Charlie Wilson, or somebody who also very dear to me, Charlie Wilson, and encouraged me when I was young coming up, because he's the first really super famous producer that I ever worked with. Charlie Wilson. When Charlie Wilson was singing, I felt like I wasn't a singer at all. So I have like duet stuff, not full out duets, but things where he's featured and he and I are going back and forth doing runs. And the world hasn't heard it before, but just amazing. But saying that to say, Kanye West
Okay.
sampled a song that I did with Jill Scott and Vidal Davis and Andre Harris for his Yeezus album. It's called I'm In It.
Oh, wow.
And it's so funny because my son just about 2 months ago came up to me and he was like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, you were on a Kanye West song."
That was huge.
It was bigger than everything. I was like, well, I think I gave him his first production credits as a remix. Not he was a brilliant producer coming out of Chicago, years ago, but Never Too Busy. He did a remix for Never Too Busy, and I think my song Just What It Takes, back in the 90s.
Wow, had no idea.
It's not. I think I was the first, but if I was not the first, I was one of the early.
Yeah, very close to it. I know you haven't been able to try. This is a true story. I was in South Africa some years ago and looked up, Kenny, and there was this huge billboard of you in South Africa.
Oh my gosh, one of my favorite places on earth.
Obviously. I said, well, isn't this something? I took a picture of it and I have it somewhere. I just couldn't find it. But you used to get over to South Africa quite often.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
My first visit over there, I was singing for Nelson Mandela's 80th birthday.
Okay.
And it was around the same time that I was, the Michael Jordan thing had happened in around 98. So it was just a lot of things to talk about, I guess, during that time period. So I never really talked about Michael Jordan. I talked a little bit about Nelson Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I just held on to the memories.
Yeah.
And I kept little things, I go into one of my souvenir rooms, if you will. And I could see the invitation to the governor's mansion and things like that for the party. And I mean, Michael Jackson was there. Nina Simone was there. I got a chance to meet her. Yeah. Danny Glover, Stevie Wonder, Chaka, Drew Hill, Najee. It was so many different arrays of people there. But excuse me, when I got there, I realized that my music was huge for all of the reasons that I told you I was challenged in the United States.
Right.
In Africa,
yeah,
they were like, oh my God, this man is telling our women, for you, I give a lifetime of stability, anything you want of me.
Yeah.
They were getting raped because there was a myth that if you raped a virgin, you'd be cured of AIDS.
I remember that story.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't it crazy?
So when I got over there, it was like I was a political figure. It was not just a musical thing. It was like you are making a statement to women around this entire country that is needed. So I went everywhere I possibly could. And so that now when I go back, there's a connection with the country. Mm-hmm. And I know there are lots of artists that go now, but I was probably one of the earlier artists to go over there at that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, Miss Tiffany Haddish.
Great. I am a great fan. That picture right there was at the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Okay.
I was sitting in the audience because we have a great friend named Derek Rutledge. Derek Rutledge did makeup for Michelle Obama and for Oprah Winfrey.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And he also was the first person to ever professionally make my face up. It was for the cover of the album Maniquin that I was on back in the 80s. 87, I think, was when he did that. So I had known him for many years, but he and another friend, Denise Mitchum, they got together and they were like, y'all should come down to the Ellen DeGeneres show so you can hear Oprah. So I was like, okay, cool. I didn't have anything going on that day, went on down and had no idea that Tiffany was even on the show. And I'm sitting in the audience and Tiffany came out and she pointed out and she said, wait a minute. She said, I don't know if white people know it, but that's Kenny Lattimore.
Wow.
I'll never forget. But what was so brilliant about it is Ellen DeGeneres turned around and said, what? White people? She was like, I know Kenny Lattimore for you.
Well, Ellen doesn't miss a beat, obviously.
She does not miss a beat. I love Ellen. Oh my gosh.
I tell you. Well, Kenny, this has been wonderful. I
appreciate you. Yeah.
I appreciate
you know what? You guys are just privy to me and my friend having conversation. We could go on and on for another hour. Actually, we won't do it, but this is just the way we flow.
I'm glad to that you would spend some time with. But let me ask you this now:
Absolutely.
what have you been doing
Since this COVID-19 thing?
COVID-19?
Well, of course, I've had a great extended honeymoon, being isolated here with my brand new wife. Hey, and it's lovely. Other than that, it has been a creative time.
Okay.
I've done some writing. We have given back to our community. We gave food to a hospital for essential workers. I've done graduation songs. I did for Prince George's County, did the whole county's graduation song. I've done tons of interviews, of course, since the Michael Jordan thing hit. I've been talking to ESPN and Yes and different networks. It has been busy.
Yeah.
It has been really, really busy. I've done some concerts, some digital concerts. TV One, we did some things with them. I've done some virtual weddings.
Have you?
Definitely. I said, I felt so, my heart just sunk because my wedding, brilliant, boom, everything shuts down right after. And I can't imagine what I would have felt if our day had been shut down like that.
Yeah.
So my heart went out to people so much, and I wasn't able to do, you can't do everybody's, but
sure.
A couple of friends called me. They said, "Oh my gosh, could you please just support this?" So I also use something called Cameo to give people shout outs, if you will. I haven't even advertised it on Facebook, but Cameo is not very expensive. And I'll do a shout out, a little piece of a song for people just to encourage you. I want to make people smile in this time period.
I tell you, what a beautiful spirit and a beautiful person you are. And
thank you.
Brothers and sisters, we have spent this last wonderful hour and 13 minutes and 22 seconds.
You've been just privy to a conversation among friends.
I let you all in on a conversation with my friend, Kenny Lattimore. We just wish you the best. God bless you, man. I love you dearly. And to Judge Faith, when you all get to Atlanta, and get settled, we're
gonna go see Daryl and get some of that good food.
Go see Daryl and get a free meal.
Yeah. And don't forget, Father's Day, I'm going to do something with my Facebook and Instagram with Blairism to talk about my new line that's coming.
One of my former church members and little brothers, he has this huge Father's Initiative on Facebook. I'm going to send you the link.
Okay.
Because once you get up and running with that, you need to link in with him as well. And
I would love that.
Do that. But before we go, I just want to let everybody know that I got some more conversations coming up this month, and I want to share some of those with you if I can manage these photos for just a second. Got some wonderful friends also like Kenny that I'm going to spend a little time with. This month we have the wonderful Lou Gossett will be with us.
Legend.
Just a
real legend
individual. And my sweetheart, Dottie Peoples, is coming to sit and talk to us. And got Don Lewis, who was on Broadway. Don was in the Tina Turner musical.
I saw that.
Yes. Ooh. Did you see? I saw it too.
Yeah, Faith and I went to see it. Yeah, amazing.
That Adrian Warren is
the Tony all day.
Oh my God, all the way, brother, all the way. And of course, our good friend Tim Reed is coming, and Clifton was supposed to be with us last Sunday, but he got sick, so Clifton is coming back. Okay. And then on next week for Father's Day, I have the legendary Tony.
Tony Dorsett. What?
And have a wonderful conversation with us. Of course, his son was with us last week, so both father and son are going to be with us. And I'll let you all know when. You know how I roll. It might be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It just depends. But I'm so grateful to my friend, the wonderful Kenny Lattimore, for spending some time with us, my brother. God bless you and God keep you. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you. I've had a great time.
Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Thank you. All right, brothers and sisters, thank you all so much for tuning in and sharing with me and Kenny today. Just a wonderful person and such a kind and generous spirit. And I look forward to being with you all soon on the next episode of Conversations, on Facebook, anybody can be a star. On Facebook, anybody can sound like they have a real serious talk show with all of the bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff. I am enjoying it, and I appreciate your support. So look forward to being with me again on another conversation with Skip. God bless you. God loves you. And remember, brothers and sisters, Black lives matter. All right. Take care.